is accounting. Class, our topic for today is accounting for SMEs or small and medium-sized entities. SMEs account for 90% of all the businesses in the Philippines. So significant talaga yung contributions of SMEs to the Philippine economy. Now, SMEs are still required to prepare and submit financial statements. Pero ang challenge for them is it is difficult for SMEs to comply with the standards or the PFRS because small and medium-sized lang sila. Possible na they lack manpower or they do not have sufficient knowledge of the standards kaya nahihirapan sila mag-comply with the PFRS. Okay? That is the reason why FSRSC or Financial and Sustainability Reporting Standards Council adopted the IFRS for SMEs. So in the Philippines, we call it PFRS for SMEs. The PFRS for SMEs was approved and issued by the Securities and Exchange Commission or SEC. Okay? So naging effective siya January 1, 2010 and nagkaroon ng konting revisions in 2017 and 2019. Okay? Now, the PFRS for SMEs contain 35 sections. So, para siyang equivalent ng, for example, PAS1, PAS2. So, Section 1, Section 2, parang ganun siya. Okay? So, meron siyang 35 sections. Now, yung magiging discussion natin for today will revolve around the differences between full IFRS or PFRS and PFRS for SME. So, pag sabi kong full PFRS, yun yung diniscuss natin all throughout FAR. Okay? And then, di-differentiate natin siya. Major differences lang sa PFRS for SMEs. Okay? Now, very important na malaman natin, sir, paano natin masasabi na yung entity is an SME? Okay? Now, an entity is an SME if it has total assets between 3 million to 350 million or total liabilities between 3 million to 250 million. Okay? So, yun yung threshold na sinabi sa atin sa PFRS for SME. So, take note, assets, 3 million to 350 million. Liabilities, 3 million to 250 million. Mas mababa yung liability. So, parang sinasabi niya, yung SME siya, meron siyang equity na 100 million. 350 minus 250. Alright? And, so dapat dalawa yung masatisfy niya. And yan the entity does not have public accountability. Okay? So, ito yung pinaka-important na concept, public accountability. So, ulitin ko, SME siya kapag yung assets or liabilities pasok sa threshold and wala siyang, wala siyang public accountability. Kapag ganyan yung entity, ang gagamitin niya na standards is the PFRS for SMEs. May option siya. Actually, pwede pa rin niyang gamitin yung full, pero pwede niyang gamitin yung PFRS for SMEs. Okay. Now, very important din na malaman natin alin yung hindi magka-qualify for SMEs. Not SMEs. Alin yung mga hindi SMEs. So, dalawa yan. Entities that are beyond the threshold. Okay? Ano ba yung threshold natin? 350 million and 250 million. Pag mas mataas dyan, ang tawag natin doon class, large entities. Okay? So ito kasi small and medium. Pag mas mataas, large. And then, those entities with public accountability. Okay? Now, kapag large entity ka, beyond threshold, and meron kang public accountability, full PFRS yung gagamitin mo. Ano ulit yung full PFRS? Yung standards. Lahat ng diniscuss natin all throughout FAR. Liwanag? Now, I'll give you 4 examples sa mga entities na mayroong public accountability. Okay, isa-isa natin. Number 1, those companies that are listed. Listed companies. Saan sila nakalist? In the Philippine Stock Exchange. Okay, pag listed company, automatic, may public accountability. Full PFRS yan. Kahit within the threshold pa yan. Hindi mahalaga yan. Alright? Next, companies that are in the process of initial public offering or IPO. Okay? So pag sabing IPO, yun yung mag-offer ka ng shares to the public or basically magiging listed na siya in the process of being listed. So in that case, may public accountability yan. Full PFRS yan. Alright? Sir, bakit may public accountability yan? Because the financial statements for listed companies are in the process of IPO are available to the public. Okay? Available to the public. Kaya siya merong public accountability. Gets? Number 3, public utilities. Ano yung public utilities? Those entities na nag-o-offer ng service to the general public. Ang maganda example dito, Meralco. Okay, ano pa? Manila Water. Okay, mga ganyang public utilities yan. Kapag ganyan, automatic, full PFRS yung gagamitin yan. Alright? And last one is those entities with fiduciary capacity. Those entities with fiduciary capacity, automatic meron siyang public accountability. Okay? Ano ibig sabihin, sir, ng with fiduciary capacity? These are entities that hold or holds funds on behalf of the public. Okay? Ano mga ganda examples? Pinakamaganda example nito, banks. Ano pa? Insurance companies. What else? Mutual funds. Ano pa? Pension funds. Yung mga ganyan. So basically, again, mag-hold ng funds on behalf of the public. So sa bangko, nag-deposit tayo dyan. Okay? Insurance companies, mutual funds, pension funds, or basically yung mga nag-accept ng investments, ang tawag natin doon, with fiduciary capacity. Ulitin ko, class. Kapag nandito ka sa apat na yan, meron kang public accountability. Pag may public accountability ka, full PFRS yan. Okay? Hindi mahalaga yung threshold. Okay? Kahit pasok ka dyan, basta may public accountability ka, full PFRS. Alin lang yung pwede maging SMEs? Pasok sa threshold and walang public accountability. Wala dito. Gets ba yan? Okay, so ganun siya. Now, again, yung magiging discussion natin will concentrate on major differences. Major lang, kasi may mga minor differences pa, huwag natin i-discuss yun. So, nakita ko yung 10 major differences between full PFRS, ano ulit yung full PFRS? Yung alam natin sa FAR, okay? And PFRS for SMEs. Let's start with number 1, investments. So, meron tayong investment in equity securities and debt securities. Alam natin, class, sa full PFRS, kapag equity security, pwedeng FVPL or FVOCI. Alright? Depende sa business model ng entity. Pero, under PFRS for SMEs, ang pwede mo lang i-classify kapag equity instrument is FVPL lang. Walang FVOCI for SMEs. Wala nun. Pag equity security, automatic, FVPL lang yan. Okay? Kapag debt security, under PFRS 9, FVPL, FVOCI, or amortized cost. Kapag SMEs, amortized cost lang. Financial asset at amortized cost lang yung pwede for debt security. Got it? Okay. Again, sinisimplify natin for small and medium enterprises or entities para makapag-comply sila with the standards. Next, investment in associate. Alam natin, sa PS28, equity method yan. Kung naalala nyo yung equity method, so dito ka nalalagay, kapag equity method, meron tayong IIA, tama ba, class? May beginning balance ka, and then meron kang share in net income, alright? And then meron kang dividends, pag dividends na receive mo, return of capital yon, you get the ending balance. Halala niyan, yun yung equity method, right? So, full PFRS, pag associate, automatic equity method. Kapag SMEs, may option yung SME, either equity method, cost method, or fair value method. Alam na natin yung equity method, ito lang siya. Okay, pag cost method naman, so basically, wala kang share in net income. Walang share yan kapag cost method and fair value method. Walang share in net income. Dividends, i-record mo yan as dividend income. Okay, so ganoon kapag cost and fair value method. Isipin nyo yung fair value method para siyang FVPL. Wherein, magma-mark to market tayo, so meron kang unrealized gain or losses, and then meron kang dividend income. Ganun siya. And take note na kapag equity method and cost method, subject to impairment loss. Alright? Fair value method, hindi na yan subject to impairment loss kasi naka-fair value na yan. Got it? So, ulitin ko. Under full PFRS, pag associate, equity method. Kapag SMEs, may choice sila. Pwedeng equity, pag equity, yung alam natin, cost method or fair value method. Ano yung cost method? Well, ganito rin, kaya lang wala kang share. Yung dividend mo, nire-record mo siya as dividend income. Kapag fair value method, para siyang FVPL. Okay? Nagma-mark to market ka every year, charge mo sa unrealized gain or losses, and then yung dividends, meron kang dividend income. Subject to impairment, yung equity and cost method, yung fair value, hindi na subject to impairment because naka-fair value na siya. Right? Next. Investment in joint venture. Equity method yan. Under PS28 and PFRS 11. For SMEs, ganito lang din. Lagay ko na lang same as above. Pwede kang equity, pwedeng cost, and fair value method. Okay? Next, investment property. Under PS41, for investment property, pwedeng cost or fair value model. Depende yan, may option yan yung entity. Under PFRS for SMEs, by default, fair value model. By default, fair value model. Unless, hindi determinable yung fair value. Yun lang yung time na pwede kang gumamit ng cost model. Again, for PFRS for SMEs, by default, fair value model. Next, research and development. Under PS38, if you remember, lahat ng research, expense. Development cost, expense yan. Pero may instances na pag nag-qualify siya dun sa strict criteria, pwede siyang i-capitalize. Okay? Pero for PFRS for SMEs, lahat ng R&D, 100% expense. Wala kang pwedeng i-capitalize yan. Both research and development, always expensed sila. Okay? Next, goodwill. We know, pag goodwill, hindi yan ina-amortize. Ini-impair lang yan. Alright? Pero PFRs for SMEs, goodwill is amortized for a maximum of 10 years. Okay? So remember this. 10 years yung maximum na useful life for goodwill. Right? Next, other intangible assets. Ano yan? Patent, trademark, copyright, franchise, yung mga ganyan. Kung maalala nyo, merong intangible assets na may finite life or merong mga indefinite life. Okay? PFRs for SMEs, always finite. Walang indefinite life dito. Okay? And maximum life nila is also parang goodwill lang. Maximum of 10 years yung useful life. Got it? Next, borrowing costs. If you remember under PS 23, kapag related siya sa qualifying asset, meron tayong pwede natin i-capitalize yung specific borrowing, general borrowing, yung mga ganyan. Pero for PFRs for SMEs, borrowing costs are 100% expensed. Okay? So, hindi mo yan pwedeng i-capitalize. Walang instances na pwede mo i-capitalize yung borrowing cost. Lahat yan, charged to interest expense. Next, employee benefits. If you remember under PS 19, actuarial gains and losses, nire-record natin siya or nire-report natin siya in OCI. Pero under PFRs for SMEs, yung unrealized gains or losses, merong choice yung entity. Pwede niyang i-present yan sa P&L or OCI. Got it? And last one, presentation of financial statements. Full PFRS, required tayo to prepare statement of financial position, statement of comprehensive income, changes in equity, statement of cash flows, and notes to financial statements. Actually, same lang siya for PFRS for SMEs. Except, merong option, okay, to prepare statement of income and retained earnings, or let's call it SIRE. Okay? So, ulitin ko. Pag PFRs for SMEs, yung same set of financial statements. Pero may option siya to present statement of income and retained earnings. Nire-replace niya yung statement of comprehensive income and statement of changes in equity. Okay? Statement of income and retained earnings or SIRE, pwede niyang ipalit yan sa statement of comprehensive income and statement of changes in equity. Okay? So these are the major differences between full PFRS and PFRS for SMEs. Pag hindi nakalista dyan, ibig sabihin, same sila. Kung ano inaral natin sa FAR, from cash and cash equivalents to shareholders' equity up to the last topic, same lang sila. Ito lang yung major differences. Got it? Okay, so let's answer our handouts. Doon muna tayo sa theory questions, later tayo sa problem solving. Theory number 1 muna tayo. Okay, theory number 1, based on Philippine SEC rules. So SEC siya yung nag-approve and nag-issue ng PFRS for SMEs in the Philippines. Okay, would not normally qualify. Alin daw yung hindi magka-qualify for SMEs? Tingnan natin yung choices. A, entities with total assets between 3 million and 350 million. Pasok siya sa threshold. Alright, so SME yan, yung letter A. Letter B, entities with total liabilities between 3 million and 250 million. Pasok din yan sa threshold. So SME yan. Okay? So again, magkaiba yung assets and liabilities because syempre may assumption dyan na may equity rin, okay, which is 100 million. Letter C, public utility companies or holders of secondary licenses issued by a regulatory agency. Kapag public utility ka, okay, example, Meralco or Manila Water, automatic meron kang public accountability. Pag may public accountability ka, hindi ka pwedeng maging SME. Okay? Full PFRS yan. That's why letter C yung sagot natin for theory number 1. And letter D, entities that are not in the process of filing FS. Kapag not in the process, kasi kapag in the process of IPO, hindi yan SME. Okay, so nakalagay not in the process or SME yan. Alright? So ang tanong sa atin, alin daw dito yung hindi SME? Letter C yung sagot natin. Number 2, all of the following can be classified as SMEs except alin daw dito yung hindi SME. Alright? A, commercial bank with total assets of 3 million. Okay. Commercial bank, example yan ng entity with fiduciary capacity. Okay? Ayan, banks. Nag-hold sila ng funds on behalf of the public. Sabi ko, kapag nandito ka sa apat na yan, automatic hindi ka SME. Hindi mahalaga yung threshold. Kahit pasok ka dyan, nakalagay dito 3 million, tama? Pero pasok ka dyan, kaya lang, nandito ka sa form. Meron kang public accountability. Basta may public accountability ka, hindi mo gumatter yung threshold. That's why sagot na agad dito is letter A. Okay? Because banks have public accountability, so full PFRS yan. Tingnan natin ibang choices. B, manufacturing entity with total liabilities of 3 million. Pasok sa threshold, so SME yan. C, merchandising company with total assets of 350 million, pasok sa threshold, SME. Letter D, food and beverage chain with total liabilities of 250, pasok din sa threshold, SME. B, C, and D are SMEs. A is not an SME. Okay? Number 3, when did PFRS for SMEs take into effect in the Philippines? So that is January 1, 2010. So letter C. Again, may konting revisions in 2017 and 2019. Alright? Pero effective siya January 1, 2010. Number 4, which of the following is not descriptive of SMEs? A, private entities. Yes, private yan. Kasi pag public, kapag listed, automatic hindi yan SME. Letter B, listed companies. So, kasabi ko lang, kapag listed company, hindi ka pwede maging SME. Okay? Because listed companies have public accountability. Letter C, small and medium, yes. Letter D, non-publicly accountable or hindi listed. Yes, tama yan. So, boy yung hindi descriptive of SMEs. Number 5, which of the following standards shall be used by small publicly listed? Nice. Publicly listed, may public accountability. Kahit small pa yan. Okay? Hindi mo matter yung threshold. Automatic, full PFRS yan. Letter A for number 5. Number 6. Ito, FYI na lang, no? Hindi kasi applicable in the Philippines. In which of the following situations can an entity that does not have public accountability claim compliance with PFRS for SMEs in its financial statements? Punta ka sa letter C for number 6. FYI na lang yan. Basahin natin. The entity prepares its financial statements in accordance with local tax requirements that are, except in name, word for word the same as PFRS for SMEs. Alam natin, class, yung tax requirement or yung tax code natin, NIRC, different yan sa content ng standards. Okay, yung PFRS. Kaya sabi ko hindi siya applicable in the Philippines. Pero FYI na lang, letter C yung sagot dito. Okay, kapag daw same yung content ng tax code and standards, ayun, pwede mong sabihin na compliant ka with PFRS for SMEs. Letter C for number 6. Number 7. An SME whose only changes to its equity in the periods for which financial statements presented arise from profit or loss, payment of dividends, correction of prior period error, and change in accounting policy. Okay, kapag ganyan, ulitin ko, pwede kang mag-prepare ng statement of income and retained earnings. Okay? Kapag ang changes lang, profit or loss or net income, dividends, correction of prior period error, and changes in policy, pwede kang mag-sire statement of income and retained earnings. Ano yung pinapalitan niya? Statement of comprehensive income and changes in equity. Dog yung sagot mo for number 7. Alright. Sige. Has the option to present statement of income and retained earnings in place of statement of comprehensive income and changes in equity. Alright? Number 8. The following statements are based on PFRS for SMEs. Statement 1. SMEs are entities that do not have public accountability. Yes. Or does not have public accountability. Statement 2. SMEs are entities that publish general purpose financial statements for external users. Sabi ko kanina, required pa rin sila mag-prepare and submit ng FS to SEC. Okay? And ayan, to SEC. So, statement 2 is also correct. Statement 3. SMEs are entities that publish special purpose and general purpose financial statements. True, true, and false for number 8. Letter A yung sagot natin dyan. Let's go to number 9. The following statements are based on PFRS for SMEs. Statement 1. An entity has public accountability if its debt or equity instruments are traded in public market. Yes, may public accountability ka basta listed ka. Alright, tama yan. Statement 2. An entity has public accountability if it's in the process of issuing debt or equity instruments. So pag mag-IPO ka pa lang, initial public offering, meron ka na agad public accountability. Bakit nga ba ulit, class? Because kapag listed ka or mag-IPO ka, yung financial statements mo available to the public yan. Alright? So may public accountability ka. Statement 3. An entity has public accountability if it holds assets in a fiduciary capacity for a broad group of outsiders as one of its primary business. Ano mga examples yan? Banks, insurance companies, mutual funds, okay, pension funds, or mga nag-a-accept ng investments, meron kang fiduciary capacity. May public accountability yan. True, true, and true for number 9. Letter A sagot natin. Number 10. The following statements are based on PFRs for SME. Statement 1. If an entity's normal operating cycle is not clearly determinable, its duration is assumed to be 12 months. So take note, hindi ko diniscuss yan sa major differences. Ibig sabihin, kung ano yung alam natin, okay, sa full PFRs, ganun din sa SME. So statement 1 is correct. True yan. Statement 2. If an entity is unable to make reliable estimate of the useful life of an intangible asset, the life shall be presumed to be 20 years. Mali. Sabi ko kanina, tanda mo, maximum of 10 years. So, false yung statement 2. Statement 3, an entity shall recognize all borrowing costs as an expense in profit or loss in the period in which they are incurred. Yes, tama yan. Sabi ko dito, borrowing costs, 100% expense yan. Hindi ka pwede mag-capitalize. So, walang concept dito ng specific or general borrowing. Lahat yan, expense. Okay, so that is true, false, and true. Letter C for number 10. Number 11. The following statements refer to PFRs for SMEs. Statement 1. A PFRs for SMEs is organized by topic, with each topic presented in a separate numbered section. That's correct. Statement 2. All of the paragraphs in the PFRs for SMEs, which has total of 35 sections, sinabi ko kanina, alright, have equal authority. Tama yan. So, 35 sections, isipin nyo parang, di ba, merong PS1, PS2, etc. Merong Section 1, Section 2, Section 3. Ganun naman yung presentation for SMEs. Okay? And Statement 3, some sections include appendices of implementation guidance that are not part of PFRS, but rather are guidelines for applying it. That's also correct. True, true, and true. For number 11, answer is letter A. Number 12, which of the following is true in relation to SME? A, all intangible assets have finite useful life and must be amortized. That's correct. Sabi ko kanina dito, goodwill and other intangible assets, lagi silang finite. Ina-amortize mo lang maximum of 10 years. Alright? So, walang indefinite useful life for SMEs. Lagi siyang ina-amortize. B, investment property is measured at fair value. The fair value can be measured reliably without undue cost or effort on an ongoing basis. Sabi ko kanina, for investment property, fair value model. Okay, yung by default niyan. Pwede ka mag-cost model only if hindi determinable yung fair value. Okay, unlike sa full PFRS, may option ka. Pwedeng cost model, pwede fair value model. Sa SMEs, by default, fair value model. Okay, boy is correct. Letter C, investment associates shall be accounted for using any of the cost model, okay, fair value model, and equity model. And using the same policy for all investments. All of the statements are true. Dog for number 12. So, ulitin ko lang. So, yung investment associate and investment joint venture, kapag SMEs, meron kang option, equity, cost, or fair value. Ano yung equity? Alam natin, equity method. Beginning balance plus share in net income minus mo yung dividends, you get the ending balance. So, yun yung equity method. Pag cost naman, so, wala kang share. Okay? Hindi ka nagre-record ng share in net income. Lahat ng dividends na ma-receive mo, dividend income. Alright? Kapag fair value model naman, parang FBPL. Wherein every December 31, nagma-mark to market ka, meron ka unrealized gains or losses na pine-present mo in PNL, lahat ng dividends na ma-receive mo will be reported as dividend income. Okay? So, letter D for number 12. Number 13, an SME can recognize which of the following either as component of profit or loss or component of OCI. Ito siya. Sabi ko kanina, lahat ng actuarial gains or losses, kapag SME, may choice siya kung saan niya ipipresent, PNL or OCI. Unlike sa full PFRS, OCI lagi yan. Okay? That's why for number 13, answer natin is boy. Number 14, for small and medium entities, SIRE, statement of income and retained earnings, may replace which two financial statements, statement of comprehensive income and changes in equity. Dog for number 14. Number 15, in accordance with the PFRs for SMEs, the financial statement that presents an entity's assets, liabilities, and equity at a point in time, well, yun yung statement of financial position or balance sheet. Same lang yan. Okay? Walang pagkakaiba yan sa full and PFRs for SMEs. That's why punta ka sa letter D. Could be titled the statement of financial position, the balance sheet, or any other title that is not misleading. For number 15, dog is the answer. Number 16, which of the following is not used in accounting for investment associates and interest in jointly controlled entities of SMEs? Sabi ko kanina, investment associate and investment joint venture, magkamukha lang yan. Alright? So, pwede mong gamitin yung equity, cost, and yung fair value. So, ang hindi mo pwedeng gamitin, walang dog, revaluation model, walang ganyan. Dog for number 16. Number 17, investment associates must be tested for impairment if the entity uses, alin lang yung subject to impairment loss, equity, and cost. Okay? Kaya A yung sagot mo dyan, the cost model or equity method. Yung fair value, hindi na. Kasi naka-fair value na yan. So, hindi na yan subject to impairment. Alright? Parang FVPL. Di ba? FVPL, di naman natin ini-impair. Ganun lang din yan. For number 17, answer natin is letter A. Number 18. Ito, FYI na lang, no? Which of the following is specifically required to be reported as line item for an SME but not under full PFRS? So, ibig sabihin, sinabi daw sa PFRS for SMEs na ito, kailangan merong ganyan line item. Pero sa full PFRS, walang requirement na ganyan. C yung sagot dyan. FYI na lang, tandaan mo na lang, non-current asset held for sale. Specifically required yan for SMEs. Letter C. 19. All of the following are considered line item in the statement of financial position of an SME except provisions, meron yan, mga liabilities. Revaluation surplus, yes. Walang non-controlling interest, letter C, okay? Kasi yung non-controlling interest, applicable yan sa mas malalaking companies. May parent and subsidiary yan, tama? Sa AFAR, sa business combination natin nakarali yan. So SMEs, small and medium lang yan, so most likely walang NCI yan or non-controlling interest. Letter C is our answer for number 19. Number 20. which is not considered as OCI for SMEs. Punta ka dun sa DOG, sum gains and losses on FVOCI securities. Because sabi ko kanina, kapag equity, FVPL lang. Alright? Kapag debt, amortized cost lang. Walang FVOCI kapag SMEs. That's why walang DOG, sum gains or losses on FVOCI securities. DOG for number 20. Number 21. Which method is used by SMEs in recognizing revenue from rendering services? Kapag services, punta ka dun sa DOG, percentage of completion method. Actually, parang sa AFAR, yung LTCC, long-term construction contracts, ganun siya. Okay, so PFRs for SMEs, pag nagre-render ng service, percentage of completion yung gagamitin natin na method. DOG for number 21. And syempre, pag goods naman, okay, or products, accrual method naman. Okay, pag services, percentage of completion. Number 22, which of the following cannot be accounted by SMEs under the cost model? Okay, punta ka dun sa investment property. Yan yung best answer. Boy. Number 22 is boy. Investment property. Because, by default, investment property is measured at fair value. Fair value model ang gagamitin mo. Ang exception lang dyan, kapag fair value is not reliably determinable. Okay? In that case, magko-cost model ka. So, dito, so ibang choices, intangible assets, investment associates, PPE, pwedeng cost yan. Okay? Our best answer is investment property because by default, fair value model yan. Okay, for numbers 23 and 24, take note class na in PFRS for SME, sulat ka lang dito, nag-mention dyan na two types of financial instruments. Okay? Meron tinatawag na basic financial instruments and other financial instruments. Alam mo class, pag basic financial instruments, ito yung with basic features. Okay? Pagka naman other, ito yung with complex features. Right? So, titingin ko class, pag basic financial instrument, basic features. Pag other financial instruments, complex features. So, apply natin. Number 23. Which of the following is not considered as basic financial instrument? Bonds and loans payable, normal lang naman yan. Walang any other special features yan. So, basic yung A. Letter B, cash and bank accounts, that's basic. Letter C, commercial papers and bills, that's basic. Options and warrants, yan yung other financial instrument. Kasi may complex feature na yan. Meron na yung exercise price, yung mga ganyan-ganyan. DOG yung sagot natin for number 23. Okay, number 24, which of the following is not considered as other? Alin daw dito yung basic? Okay, derivatives, complex na yan. So, other na yan. Letter B, hedging instruments, complex na yan. Other financial instrument na yan. Letter C, investments in convertible and putable. So, pag sabing convertible, si shareholder, meron siyang right to convert, let's say, yung preference shares, i-convert niya into ordinary shares. One yan. So, convertible yan. Kapag sinabi mo naman na putable, ibig sabihin, si shareholder, pwede niyang ibenta, okay, yung shares niya, meron siyang right to sell shares to the corporation. Okay, so yun yung putable. So, pwedeng ibenta ni shareholder at his option, kung gusto niya, may option siya na ibenta anytime yung shares niya back to the corporation. Ganun yung putable. Alright? And sabi dyan, class, alin daw dito yung other? Okay? Or alin daw dito yung hindi other? Alin daw dito yung basic? O yung letter C, pwede mo i-convert or pwede mo ibenta. Complex features na yan. Alright? So that's why yung letter C is other financial instrument yan. Sagot natin is DOG. Okay? DOG is a basic financial instrument. Bakit? Sabi dyan, investments in non-convertible, hindi pwede i-convert. Or non-putable, hindi pwede ibenta. O, basic features yan. Okay, that's why for number 24, DOG yung sagot natin dyan. Alright, so that's for theory. Punta tayo sa problem solving. Let's go to problem number 1. Okay, so problem number 1, pinapakompute tayo, class. So, dun tayo sa main problem number 1. Compute the following. Meron tayong 6 items na kailangan i-compute. Current assets, lagyan natin dito. Current assets. We have non-current assets. We have current liabilities, non-current liabilities, and shareholders' equity. Okay? So, sige, isa-isahin natin per item. An SME provided the following data on December 31. Cash, 26,000. We know current asset yan. So, lagay ko lang dito, 26,000 for cash. Current asset. Accounts receivable, 530. We know it's current asset. Prepayments, so alam natin, current asset yan. Inventories, also current asset. Investment associate, we know, non-current asset yan. So, lagay natin, 110,000. PPE, 3,250,000. Meron nakalagay na accumulated depreciation. Inet na natin yung class. 3,250,000 minus 700,000, you get 2,550,000. Nakuha mo yan? And PPE, alam natin, non-current asset yan. 2,550,000. Naka-net na yung PPN, accumulated depreciation. Next, software, net of amortization, intangible asset yung software. Tama? So, non-current asset yan. Lagyan natin 10,000. And then, meron tayong deferred tax asset. If you remember, deferred tax asset is always non-current. So, 4,000. Bank overdraft. Hindi bank draft, ha? Bank overdraft. So, liability yan. Babayaran natin yung bank. Nasobrahan tayo sa pag-withdraw, babayaran natin yung bank. So, current liability yan, 80,000. Next, bank loan payable in 2024. Take note, ang year na nakalagay, 2021. So, 3 years from now, non-current liability yan. 50,000, non-current liability. Next, trade payables or ito yung accounts payable. We know, current liability yan. Interest payable is also current, 2,000. Current tax liability, okay, current din yan. Provision for warranty is also current liability. Next, employee benefit obligation, 10,000. Pero yung current portion, 4,000. Tama ba, class? Current portion, yung 4,000, current liability. Therefore, yung 6,000 or 10,000 minus 4,000, non-current liability yan. There you go, 6,000. Okay? Ulitin ko. So, yung employee benefit obligation, 10,000 yung total. 4,000 yung current, 6,000 yung non-current. Okay, next. Finance lease liability, 44,000 yung total. Current portion daw, 20,000. Lagay natin, 20,000 current portion. 44 minus 20, 24,000 yung non-current portion. So, 20 plus 24, total 44,000. Share capital, we know, shareholders' equity yan. And retained earnings, 430,000. Okay, so let's compute for the total. Doon muna tayo sa current assets, 26,000 plus 530,000 plus 60 plus 60,000. Nakuha ko dito, class, is 676,000. Total current assets, 676,000. Let's go to non-current assets. 110,000 plus 2,550,000 plus 10,000 plus 4,000. You should get 2,674,000 total non-current assets. Let's go to current liabilities. 80,000. Okay. Plus 430,000 plus 2,000 plus 270,000 plus 4,000 plus 4,000 plus 20,000. You get 810,000 total current liabilities. And then non-current liabilities, 50,000 plus 6,000 plus 24,000. You get 80,000. And last one, shareholders' equity, 30,000 plus 2430,000. You have 2460,000. These are our final answers for problem number 1. 2460,000. Okay? So, class, ano napansin nyo sa problem 1? Walang difference. Okay? So, kung ano yung alam natin sa full PFRS, classification, current, non-current assets, current, non-current liability, shareholders' equity, ganun lang din yung classification for PFRS for SMEs. Walang difference. Okay? So, yun yung problem number 1 natin. Let's go to problem number 2. Alright? So, problem number 2, let's take a look at the questions. Question 1, what is the profit for the year? Question 2, what is the retained earnings December 31? Okay. So, sige. So, diretso compute na tayo dito, class. An SME provided the following data for 2021. Sabayan nyo ako mag-compute, ha. Sales. So, profit muna o net income. Sama natin yan, 6.7 million. And then, royalty revenue, plus natin yan, plus 120,000. Cost of goods sold, minus natin yan. Kasi kino-compute natin is net income, minus 5.1 million. Dividend received from an associate, cost model. Kapag cost model, lahat na marireceive mo na dividend, dividend income. Huwag mo i-report yan as share in net income. Hindi. Share in net income para lang sa equity method yan. Cost model nakalagay, i-plus natin yan. Okay? Kasama yan sa net income. Plus 25,000. Gain on disposal of property, plus 60,000. Distribution cost, or ito yung selling expenses, minus 175,000. Administrative expenses, including amortization of goodwill. Pwede ka ba mag-amortize ng goodwill for SMEs? Yes. Okay, nag-amortize tayo. Maximum of 10 years. So, minus natin yan. 810,000. Research and development cost, 5 years. Oh, kapag R&D, automatic, saan yan? 100% expense. Huwag mo i-amortize yan. So, minus natin yung buong amount, which is 70,000. Next, foreign exchange loss. So, minus mo yan, loss. Interest on bank loan and overdraft, interest expense. So, minus mo yan, 20,000. Interest on finance lease. So, minus mo yan, 5,000. Current tax expense, minus natin yan, 270. Deferred tax benefit, o pag tax benefit, plus naman. Okay? Plus mo yung 10,000. Nakuha mo ba, class, yung 435,000? So, net income natin. Question number 1, 435,000. Question number 2, how much daw yung retained earnings natin? O, gawa tayo ng T account. Retained earnings. Okay, so, doon ka sa second to the last item. Tama ba, retained earnings mo yan, 2.1 million. Lagay natin sa credit, 2.1 million. And then, meron tayong net income na 435,000 na compute natin sa requirement number 1. And last item, meron daw dividends na 150,000. So, let's compute for the ending balance of retained earnings. 2.1 million plus 435,000 net income minus dividends sa 150, you get 2,385,000. Letter B for question number 2. So, yung question number 1 natin, letter A, 435,000. Question number 2 natin is letter B, 2,385,000. Okay. Let's go to the last problem. Problem number 3. Lagay ko dito, main problem number 3. Okay. Question number 1 is, what's the amount of basic financial assets? Lagay natin dyan. Question number 2, what is the total amount of basic financial liabilities? Okay, pag sinabi natin financial assets, lagay ko dito, definition yan, alam natin, aralan natin sa receivables and sa investments, it is a contractual right to receive fixed amount of cash. Okay? Ulitin ko. Pag sabing financial asset, it is a contractual right to receive fixed amount of cash. Very important yung contractual and yung fixed. Okay? Ano mga example yan? Cash, AR or receivables, ano pa? Investments. Yan yung mga example natin ng financial assets. Okay? So, pag sabi namang financial liability, contractual right to pay fixed amount of cash. Okay? Obviously, kapag asset, right to receive. Okay? Kapag liability, fixed naman, or pay naman tayo, babayad naman tayo. Fixed amount of cash. So, tingnan natin, isa-isa natin class, kung alin dito yung financial assets and financial liabilities. Okay, at SME prepared the following post-closing trial balance on December 31. PPE, wala namang cash yan. Hindi ka makaka-receive ng cash dyan sa PPE. Hindi yan financial asset. Intangible assets, hindi yan financial asset. Again, ito yung mga examples natin ng financial asset. Cash, receivables, and investments. Investment associate, hindi. Yung investments na sinasabi ko dyan, yung FPPL, FBOCI, mga ganun. Okay? Though walang FBOCI sa SMEs. Deferred tax asset, hindi yan financial asset. Inventory, hindi rin. Trade receivables, yes, kasama yan. Receivables. So, lagyan natin dito class, 600,000. Next natin, cash on hand, yes. Financial asset yung cash on hand, 150,000. Next, investment in non-putable ordinary shares. So, pag non-putable, hindi daw natin bibenta. So, walang extra features. Okay? Ano tawag dyan? Basic financial asset. Nakalagay dyan, question number 1, what is the total amount of basic financial asset? Pag nakalagay dyan, putable shares, huwag mo sasama kasi other na yan or complex na yan. Kasama yan kasi non-putable daw. 550,000. Okay, next natin is investment in non-convertible and non-putable. So, walang any other special or extra features. Ibig sabihin, basic yan. Okay? So, shares or investments yan, sama natin. 500,000. Investment in term bonds, so that's amortized cost, investments yan, kasama yan. Kasi fixed amount, nakaka-receive tayo ng interest yan. Alright? So, contractual right to receive fixed amount of cash. So, lagay natin, 400,000. Next is demand deposit in bank. So, again, pag cash or cash in bank, financial asset yan, 200,000. Loan receivable, again, yung mga receivables natin. Hindi lang AR, pati yung mga loan receivable, yung mga ganyan. Fixed term nakalagay, on demand, kasama lahat yan. Financial asset yan. So, lagay natin 10,000 and 300,000. Okay? Next, bank loans. So, doon naman tayo sa loans. So, liability naman yan. Nag-loan tayo sa bank, meron tayong magbabayad tayo ng fixed amount of cash, which is interest and principal. So, sabihin, financial liability yung 1.1 million. Next, other long-term employee benefits, hindi yan fixed. Kasi depende yan sa actuarial estimates natin sa mga magre-retire. Hindi yan considered as financial liability. Okay? Obligations under finance lease. Well, kapag finance lease kasi paiba-iba yung binabayaran mo every year dyan sa amortization table natin. Kapag operating lease, ayun, financial liability yan. Kapag finance lease, hindi yan financial liability. Next, trade payables, kasama yan. Okay? So, 550,000. Meron tayong contractual right to pay the supplier. Kaya kasama yung trade payables. Warranty obligation, okay sana, kaya lang warranty, hindi yan fixed amount. Depende kung gaano karami yung defects ng products natin. Okay? Hindi yan kasama. Rent payable, every month, pagka mukha yung rent na binabayad natin, contractual right to pay fixed amount of cash, parang operating lease. Kapag ganyan, it is considered as financial liability. So, lagay natin, 10,000. And then, interest payable, syempre, every period, fixed amount of interest yung binabayad natin. So, that is a financial liability, 20,000. Next is current tax liability. Actually, yung current tax liability, hindi siya considered as financial liability kasi hindi yan fixed eh. Depende yan sa net income mo or depende sa income before tax mo kung magkano yung tax na babayaran mo. Alright? So, hindi yan kasama. Bank overdraft on demand, overdraft yun yung excessive payment, excessive withdrawal. Tama, liability yan. Tama, current liability. Now, yung cash, financial asset yan. Pag sumobra ka, okay, ng withdraw, may utang ka sa bangko, financial liability naman yan. Parang counterpart siya ng cash. Okay, so lagay mo dyan, 40,000. Share capital and retained earnings, hindi yan asset, hindi yan liability, so hindi yan kasama. Let's compute for the total, financial assets and financial liability. Doon tayo sa financial assets, 600,000 plus 150,000. Plus 550,000, plus 500,000, plus 400,000, plus 200,000, plus 10,000, plus 300,000. Nakuha ko dito, class. Letter B or boy, 3, 7, 10,000. And then last question, financial liability, question number 2, 1.1 million. Plus natin yung 550,000, plus 10,000, plus 20,000, plus 40,000. Nakuha ko dito, class, is 1,720,000. For question number 2, final answer natin is letter C, 1,720,000. Okay, so I think nasagutan na natin lahat. Both theories and problem solving. So that ends our discussion for accounting for SMEs.